You're listening to First Bitch of the Day with Joe Paradise and the KEMPIRE here on KEMPIRE Radio.
Welcome, everyone. It is First Bitch of the Day, episode 3, here with Joe Paradise.
What up, everyone?
And myself, the KEMPIRE. Hope you guys have been enjoying the show. Don't forget, we are coming to iTunes very soon, if they would get it together. Maybe that should be my first bitch of the day. It take a little bit. But if you have missed any of the episodes, you can definitely hear them either on our blog at KEMPIREDAILY.com, or you can start following us on our SoundCloud, because we do post them up there. You can also check out some past interviews from KEMPIRE Radio. But don't forget, guys, before it even goes to iTunes and before it goes to our SoundCloud, we do a whole wonderful, music and comedy and all kinds of stuff when we first air First Bitch of the Day on Fridays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and it re-airs the same day, Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern on KEMPIRERadio.com. So you have an great opportunity to listen to the show twice on Fridays, and sometimes we replay it on Saturdays. But definitely make sure you subscribe to us once we're on iTunes, and definitely follow us on our SoundCloud, and you should definitely check it out on our KEMPIRE Daily blog. But anyways, enough of the maintenance work. It is episode 3, and we have so much to talk about. I just want to jump right in because I know everyone is talking about this, and I'm not one to count people's money, Joel. But this, I have to say, Marie Holmes. You may, I don't know if you remember this woman. She won $188 million in Powerball back in February, and she has like 4 kids. And she was talking about doing all these really great things when they were interviewing her with this money. I mean, she won $188 million, but that she doesn't necessarily get all of that. She after taxes and everything like that. And the lump sum, she ended up with $88 million. $88 million you can have for the rest of your life.
I mean, of course, right?
You know what I mean? I wish. But she has been on the, every blog recently, except ours. People are upset because they found out that Marie Holmes spent $9 million. What do you think I'm going to say next?
$9 million on a brand new home for her kids, right?
No. She spent $9 million bailing out her boyfriend, not husband. I'll say that as the news is reporting, her felon boyfriend, Lamar McDowell. And these are drug charges that she's bailing him out on. First it was some sort of, I don't want to get the story wrong, but pretty much he had some sort of drug charge. She bailed him out that first time for $3 million. So this was $3 million she bailed him out for.
Okay, so it happened twice.
It happened twice. Then she had to bail him out one other time, but this time it was for $6 million. I guess because parole violations and things like that. So in total, she spent $9 million in bail for this guy. This guy that's not her husband. I don't know how long she's been dating him. I don't know if he's been in the picture since she bought, that lottery ticket. I'm assuming so, because this was just in February. But she's under fire. Everyone's like, oh my God, like why would you waste your money on this man?
And North Carolina is one of those states too that if you post bail, you don't actually get it back, even if he shows up to court, right?
Well, that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing mixed things, because typically, if you put out money for bail, as long as the person as long as the person shows up for the their court date, they should be fine. But it seems as if I'm hearing mixed things about North Carolina's bail rules. I don't know if that's necessarily true. So maybe she will get this money back, and it pretty much is just putting it out there. But if your bail is so high that it's in the millions, that's some serious charges you're facing.
Yeah, it's like they said these. That's a crazy bail. Like, is it based on their income? Like, did the courts know? Or is just a bail that they set that high? Obviously, if they set it that high for his ass to stay in there. Like, not take him out. He must have been caught with some major stuff.
They didn't know that she had that he had a nice sugar mama, millionaire sugar mama.
I'm sorry if my man or my woman or whoever wants to go to jail and their bill's that high. I'll be like, I'll go see you on Sundays. How about that? How you doing? I don't care if I have all those millions in the bank. If you got yourself in some shit, you're staying in there.
Well,
What
see,
do you think?
well, according to Madame Noir, they're saying that this is what he was charged with. Shortly after she won the money, Holmes posted $3 million bond for her boyfriend Lamar McDowell. McDowell was in jail facing heroin trafficking charges. McDowell was implicated after an investigation unearthed more than 8,000 bags of heroin. So I'm guessing because of how large this this amount of bags of heroin, it's considered like trafficking or whatever it may be. But Holmes found herself behind bars too recently, so she also went to jail.
Wait, what?
Yes, the plot thickens. Last month, police came to her home to arrest McDowell, who had violated conditions of his parole by missing curfew, because he out and about spending her money. When officers searched her house, they found McDowell had a 45 caliber pistol, and there was less than a half an ounce of drug and paraphernalia in Holmes's Brunswick County home. She then spent an additional $6 million to get McDowell out of prison. He was released with a GPS monitoring device. You know the things they put on your ankle?
Mm-hmm.
2 other people in the house were also charged. What other people?
What?
Are living in this house? We're charged with simple possession. So they got a little weed. 3 children were present at the time of the arrest. McDowell said they were his children. So we were her children.
Mm.
I'm not understanding. According to WWAY, Holmes and McDowell are engaged, I would hope. And they also reported that Holmes took to the news station Facebook to respond to the criticism about the story, which everyone's been talking about this week. So this is what she had to say. I'm gonna do an impersonation now this time, Joe. What y'all need to be worried about is y'all money and how I spend mine. This is benefiting y'all how. No, he's no drug dealer or user, but who y'all to judge anybody? I will definitely pray for y'all because it's much need. They talked about Jesus, so I'm not surprised y'all are talking about me. But be blessed up. Hold up, is she calling herself Jesus?
Wait, what? Oh,
is she calling herself Jesus?
Oh, is this? It's Kanye's sister.
This is why it's so funny. And the thing is, I'm not one to count people's money, but this is why I'm sad about this story, is because I remember when she won and I was like, wow, I hope she's able to take this money and do a lot of positive things, especially because she has so many children and things like that. Beautiful girl too. I don't know if you've seen pictures of her. Beautiful girl.
I've seen pictures, yeah.
And I just I genuinely wanted the best for her, and it seems and I'm not saying this guy's a bad guy, but from the way it sounds, he is not the right guy, because no matter what, even if he's not a drug dealer or drug user, he is, first of all, on parole, and he has a curfew. He's not following the rules, and he's hanging around people that can bring possible issues to him. People that got drugs on them. There's drugs in the house. There's a gun in the house. Come on,
yeah. It's like the first time. Okay, we get it. Nobody heard about it in the news. You did what you had to do. Bail your boyfriend. Bail your husband. Whatever. Your fiance out of jail. But the second time you did something to get your ass back in jail, hello, no. And it's like, what's the safety of the kids too?
Yeah,
it's not about the money at the end of the day. It's about those kids.
She has, I believe, she has 4 children, and apparently, he has 3, so that makes 7. Unless he's the baby father, I don't know.
Can we have a reality show?
Oh, here you go. She needs to stay off TV. She needs to stay under the radar. My goodness. But like I said, I'm not one to count people's money, because at the end of the day, it is her money, and hopefully she will get that money back. But it doesn't say, before she marries this man, hopefully she will get a prenup.
She dumb. She won't.
But let me not say that. Some people are so digmatized that they like, oh, but I love him.
She's like, I need you right now. Oh, 9 million? Okay, I got you.
Lamar may be getting a big payday if they don't sign a prenup. I don't know if North Carolina is a half state, but let something happen and they get a divorce and homegirl loses half. I mean, even if she loses half of that, she's still good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Well, Marie Holmes, we do wish you luck with this. I mean, like I said, I don't want to count your money, but damn, $9 million?
No.
Lord, what can you do? Anyways, what's your bitch of the day, Joe?
What's my bitch? Oh my god. Let me tell you, right? Do I have to mention this name? The Kardashians. How come, like, just like a second ago, right? I went to Google Kim Kardashian because I'm just curious, right? All these stories came up of Kim. It's like, okay, wait, hold on. Here we go. I'm on Google right now.
Mm-mm.
4 stories in the last 3 hours, different sites. Kim Kardashian shows off her baby bump in a skin tight dress. Kim Kardashian shows a huge baby bump, major cleavage, and hints on whatever. E News. Cosmetologist is reporting. Kim is wearing skin tight mini skin tight mini proves her bump is beyond whatever. I'm not gonna click there. U.S. Magazine. Kim Kardashian jokes about getting lunch for 3. Okay. I don't know if you got to see this news reporter a couple weeks ago here in Orlando. This video went viral.
Uh-oh.
It was on Fox 35 Orlando. It was on Friday.
Excuse me.
And news reporter John, he's there reporting the news, and I guess they had this special like a co-host that she came on the show, and she was bringing up like a mini segment of like news, and she quickly brought up the Kenner Kardashians, and this news reporter went off. Like, he walks off stage, he's like, I'm so sick and tired of hearing about the Kardashians. And I felt his pain because I'm watching the news and I'm like, oh, this is live TV, mind you.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, I feel his pain. And then the other reporter's like, no, but John, calm down. It's about, listen. How about if and this is the story that she's going to say that's supposed to be news. Mm-hmm. How about if your daughter named her new bunny John? How would you feel? Well, that's exactly what Kylie Jenner did. Bought a bunny and named it Bruce. And he's like, I don't care. It was the most funniest thing ever. And I feel like America and everybody feels the same way. I don't know. What do you feel? I'm like tired of listening about the Kardashians every single moment.
Well, one of my biggest interviews of all time here on KEMPIRE Radio is about the Kardashians. It was about Oprah interviewing the Kardashians, in which Oprah ended up calling into the radio program, and we discussed that among a bunch of different other things. So the obsession with the Kardashians, a lot of times people obsess over certain people for a period of time and then they kind of disappear. The Kardashians have just become bigger and bigger and richer and just, I mean, like you said, in every hour they're being reported on. But you know what it is? In preparation for us doing the show, I kind of was like, I haven't really watched the Kardashians in a very long time. I used to watch it. I'll admit it. I used to watch the Kardashians a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I loved them back then because one thing about the Kardashians, they are tight-knit. And a lot of the things that happens, outside, where, this one's breaking up and this one's going through this and, this one's gaining too much weight. And they all seem like a united front, though. Nothing really leaks out of the family unless they want you to know. They'll leak it. They'll set up the whole scenario. They'll create the reality, show for it. So in that way, they're such a united family. And I think that's part of the reason why they were so successful in the very beginning is that people could relate to the different issues that they were, having outplay on their reality show. But I watched it recently, yesterday, and I was just saying, what are the Kardashians, keeping up with now? And now it just seems like, okay, it's the same thing. Scott and Courtney are still arguing, and this one is doing that. It seems so different now that it's not as relatable as it used to be. I'm surprised that people still watch it. But although Kim seems to be like so hated by everyone, obviously she's not. There's a bunch of people that support and make these people money. There are people watching those shows. There are people buying those products. So in some shape or form, although, you and I are talking about it and and people are reporting on it, and people are sick of them. But if you're really sick of them, then stop reporting on it, stop talking about them, stop supporting their different products. But there's a larger group of people that do. So
yeah, everybody's like all about them, and I totally agree. If we don't want to hear about them, then we need to stop talking about them, even if it is in a positive or negative light, right? Like, if they'll go somewhere.
And it's so funny because along with watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians over the weekend, I also caught up with I Am Kate. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to watch it. I know a lot of people were talking about it. I was like, I don't know if I want to watch it. I don't know if it would be too sad for me to watch. Because, after watching the interview that Caitlyn did with Diane Sawyer, I was like, it was very emotional. So I was like, I don't know if I want to really watch this. I don't feel like crying on the weekends. I feel like laughing. So I watched it. And I have to say, I like it. I like what Caitlyn is trying to do. And I like that she is sharing her experience, because she really is a newbie, and she's showing that. It's probably the realest the Kardashian Jenners have ever been. And it's nice to see, and that goes back to what I was saying about how tight knit they are. Because even with Bruce going through this, and this is something that affects not just who used to be Bruce, Caitlyn. Even though Caitlyn's going through this, the entire family is affected by these decisions, and they all, even though they've had difficulties, and that's, outplaying on both shows,
yeah,
they're still a united front. You know what I mean? That hasn't broken their family up. That hasn't, destroyed their family. But I have to say, I really enjoy I Am Kate, because I feel like it's going to help those folks that do not have the support and the means and the support that that you need, and that Caitlyn has. Beyond just money, she has the support, and you know what I mean. It's a different level.
She has a platform now that everybody could look up to, and bring that community to a forefront. And because it's a lot of it's crazy, because the whole relating. I personally don't have anyone who's transgender in my family, but how many families out there that they do have a transgender person in their family, and it's hard for them to understand. And this platform that Caitlyn now has, and her to be able to show everyone, like, hey, look where I'm coming from. I used to be an Olympian, and this is a struggle, and this is real. And it's kind of hard to see the card. I don't know if you've seen the recent a clip for the new episode that's coming up, where I love to hear about them being tight knit. They are, but and then the one that's coming up, I think it's gonna be tonight or something, or in the next few days. It's Kim actually confronting Caitlyn, saying, I know you're rising up to fame, but you don't need to throw our name in the dirt. And she's referring back to the Barbara Walters interview. Oh no, the Vanity Fair. Sorry, the Vanity Fair. I guess Caitlyn said something in the article referring to something. So I thought that's.
Well, excuse me. What it is. It's the one thing that I do love about the reality, the docuseries that they're doing, I Am Kate, is that she's bringing other transgendered women, some that are popular, some that you didn't know, some that are activists, some that are teachers, bringing them on, because Caitlyn is very new to this world. So Caitlyn can't be the advocate. She can't be the representative, because she's experiencing in this, now. You know what I mean? So she really can't be the advocate. She is, because, she's put there on that platform, but I'm glad that they're bringing these other transgendered people into the scope, and they're sitting around and having these conversations, because these conversations are teaching people. I know people are saying, Caitlyn's a fame whore like the rest of the family, but I was like, this is necessary, because of course there are other transgender teens that are killing themselves, and that are being abused and attacked, and that don't know any other outlets or support, and only other outlet they probably have is like little groups or things like that. It's in everyone's face that this is without a doubt going on in the world, and you have to start, for lack of a better word, tolerate that these people also exist, and you have to treat them equally because they exist.
Yeah, exactly. You know, what's so funny. This brings me to a topic I was having with someone the other day about labels, and how about everybody labels themselves, and we shouldn't live in a world where we don't label. But and I had this conversation actually in because I do volunteer work for a gay center here, and somebody was bringing up the fact of, oh, we shouldn't have labels. And I'm like, you know what? Labels are important at the end of the day, because we need to identify these things, because everybody don't know. Everybody's not comfortable. Now everybody's being comfortable. Okay, what is a gay person? What is a bisexual? What is transgender? What is this? What is that? Hopefully in the future, all this won't matter. It won't matter if he's gay, if he's straight, if she's whatever, if he's doing this and doing that, because everything's just going to be known, So I feel like these labels are important.
Well, I mean, excuse me. I think labels are, I don't know if I would say necessarily important, but maybe necessary.
Necessary, yes. Exactly.
And I get people's idealistic view, like, you know what, why can't it just be, just one race, one human, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, the first black this or the first transgender that. But you have to celebrate those moments, because you got to remember, not too long ago, you didn't have that. You know what I mean? Of course, 10 years from now, you'll look back on it and be like, oh, what the hell were we thinking? Yeah, that's nothing. But I think, now that we are slowly but surely advancing when it comes to same-sex couples and homosexuality, and people are being accepting of that, and even they have their struggles, and even, there's still struggles with, racism, as we're seeing in the news. So those are different struggles, but you cannot deny that we've definitely come very far. A lot of people, Black Lives Matter movements and things like that, they get into these topics of like, this stuff is still prevalent in our society. It is still prevalent, and we definitely should be discussing it. We definitely should be doing things about it. But let's not forget how far we've come.
Exactly. And people's mind, and you know what, that whole conversation I had the other day, it had to do with it was an older white gentleman, and he was referring to like, oh, I can't go to a bar with another gentleman because he's black, and take him to a white bar because they're gonna beat him up, or I can't go to his side of town and go to a black bar because they'll beat me up. And I'm like, wow, like people really still think that.
Still in this day and age. Lord.
In this day and age, yeah. So it was like, and then that's when everything came up. Like, I don't think that will happen to you. You could go to a black bar and not get beat up. Like, we have evolved. There's changes out there, and but there is racism out there because people's minds, I guess, are still not there.
Yeah, we've gone from racism. We went from homophobes to now people that are discriminating and abusing, people that are transgendered. I mean, there are differences for a reason. I mean, I celebrate those differences just because if we didn't have those differences, if we didn't have those challenges, if we didn't have like the civil rights movement, if we didn't have the Black Lives movement, we wouldn't have these conversations. We wouldn't evolve as a people. Like these experiences are helping us evolve and making us have conversations that we wouldn't have necessarily had before. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? How did we get on these topics? Lord. Oh, yeah, I am Kate. So I've been watching it. So far, I like it. I like where it's going. And I feel like it's necessary, especially for those young individuals that are feeling these different feelings. I mean, there's something that Caitlin said in the series, on one of the episodes, where there was this difference. I feel like a female, but I'm not feminine. And I was like, wow, that's an interesting perspective on feeling like a woman, but not necessarily feeling feminine. And I guess that goes back to the whole idea of tomboys and things like that. So that's like a whole. It really makes you. And I think what scares people is that they don't understand it. You know what I mean? So it's really asking ourselves to really go deeper and trying to understand, where these people are coming from, because it's fine when we're growing up. We know, yeah, I'm a boy. I feel like a boy. I do boy things. But for those that are transgender, they're in they're in a boy body but feel like a woman.
Yeah.
First of all, that their own little struggle that's going on internally is enough to drive you crazy. But then for everyone else's judgments, to be incorporated in that makes it even more difficult for them. So I think this is the time. That's why I feel like it's necessary for Caitlyn to do this docuseries, because it's giving a voice to all of those teenagers, adults, anyone that's going through this sort of struggle. And even if you're not going through the, quote unquote transgender struggle, there are people going through different struggles of not being accepted for who they are.
Yeah.
And this will, this could be argued, but I feel like it's going to help people.
It's going to help people tremendously. And I like it too in like the most recent episode where it shows not a definition, but the difference. Like there's gender identity versus sexual orientation, which are totally different things, where a few of the transgender women actually are attracted to women. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting for them to point that out, because, a lot of times people assume, I may feel, or I don't know, I haven't felt like that, but imagine someone growing up and feeling they're female or feeling they're a woman, but still attracted to women.
That can add to the confusion as well. You're like, but, you know what I mean? Because if you're not thinking about like, I'm a lesbian, or, you know what I mean? You're like, okay, I'm in a boy's body, but I feel like a woman, but I'm still attracted to women. So what is that? What is that experience?
That's why there's so many different types of people out there.
Definitely, without a doubt. If you guys are just tuning in, this is, of course, First Bitch of the Day, Episode 3, with Joe Paradise, and, of course, me, the KEMPIRE. We're talking about all different types of topics. We're talking about what's bitching, what we're bitching about. We want to hear what you guys are bitching about. So hit us up on our Twitter, @1BOTD. I'm getting better with it.
TDLD.
Oh, really? What was that you just made up?
I don't even know.
But you can definitely follow us on Twitter, and you can follow us on our Instagram, and you can let us know, what are you bitching about, and maybe we'll discuss it here on the podcast. So this had to be a part of my bitch list, because this is what I'm calling my list, a bitch list.
That's a long list, Cam.
That is a long list, and that should at least cover us for the next few months. But on my bitch list is Tyrese, and for various reasons. So I'm on Tyrese's side on one level, but then on the other side, I can't stand Tyrese. I just find it to be so annoying, I
bet a lot of people out there that they don't care which side they are on Tyrese.
Really?
Oh.
Really? First of all, let's say congratulations to Tyrese, because he did have a #1 album with his latest release, his independent release. But his thing, this is what Billboard is reporting, and he had a sort of protest / concert outside the iHeartRadio offices, which the police were called because he was causing a disruption.
A ruckus.
But this is what Tyrese has to say. He's like, what is this? He's like, when I think about Sam Smith, Robin Thicke, Justin Timberlake, when they're singing R&B soul, their songs are being played on all formats of radio, including urban radio. This is what he told TMZ. We don't say because they white, they should only be played on white stations. If I'm #1, my song deserves to be heard by the world. So, I get it, and I've been talking about this.
Did he ever have a #1 before?
No, I think this is his very first #1 album.
Oh, no wonder he's caught up in his feelings.
Well, you know what the thing is, though? Well, okay, let me just put it plainly. Congrats to him on having that #1 album, but it really was a slow week, because I think he only sold a very small amount to get that. Like, if he was competing against like big sellers that week, he probably would have been #1. So it kind of worked out in his favor. I mean, real talk.
Shame, right? The song Shame?
Yeah. So, well, it was his album that went #1. That song didn't go #1. The song went #1, I think, on like the adult contemporary R&B charts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so he's saying that, if he was white, his songs would be on all different formats. And you know what? I agree with him, without a doubt. I mean, that has been an issue in music for a very long time. only time you'll see like a black song on all formats is if it crosses over. That's what they always say with those songs. If the song crosses over, like an All For Me by John Legend, that song crossed over to pop radio. So that ended up on, like the Hot 100. And then he ended up on all these different radio platforms because everyone was loving it.
So what's the difference between a crossover song versus Tyrese song?
Well, the thing is, it has to become popular enough on, with different races, pretty much. Like it had, but the thing, what Tyrese is saying is that how are they supposed to know about the song if radio is not playing it?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he doesn't even have the opportunity. The only reason why, like a John Legend or Alicia Keys has that opportunity is because they, the song becomes such a massive hit, and then sometimes the sound of the song is a little bit more for pop radio.
But
so
which radio station is he really fighting for? Because me personally, I listen to all stations. Like if all my radio stations are set to everything, so I just change over. I just go to all of them. I haven't heard Tyrese's song on the urban station.
Well, you may want to let Tyrese know.
So
like Tyrese said, no one's playing your song.
If I'm not hearing it there, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, iHeartRadio owns a few different radio stations across the country, including Power 105 here in New York, which is an urban radio station. So I'm sure they're playing it. Maybe they're not playing it a lot because they only really play the songs that are really getting people, that's getting them, to listen to their station. So they're really not playing, Tyrese all the time. They may play it here and there.
Because I think it's the people at the end of the day, right? The people are
partly.
But I could see the point too, where if they don't play, like I haven't heard it, right? Like you used to say. Mm-hmm. So if they don't play it, then I don't get exposed to it, where I don't request it, right?
Then you don't know if you like it. You're like, oh, Tyrese has an album out? I didn't know.
Yeah.
So that's partly what he's saying, and a lot of artists that I've interviewed in the past or spoke to off the record have said the same thing. They've created songs that would be great for pop radio, but they won't get the opportunity because pop radio won't play their songs because they won't say it's because of their color of their skin. But at the end of the day, okay, why aren't you playing this particular song? It sounds just like Sam Smith's song, or it sounds just like Robin Thicke's song.
We were talking about labels and stuff like that. I hate labels when it comes to song gender right? Because
you just made a whole new thing, song gender. What's that mean?
Song gender means basically where a song goes anywhere where it likes. It doesn't have specific gender. It's just gender.
It's not gender specific.
Exactly. But you have these songs that just flip flop everywhere. Like Beyonce, you see her in like R&B, then you see her in pop, then you see her in like she's just everywhere. Rihanna, she's like strictly same thing. She could go from urban to pop, and then you have these people who are just urban, and I'm like, but I could see them as pop, or as pop is just pop. I don't know. It's confusing.
Yeah, and it's funny. It's not that you don't hear black artists on pop radio, but you have to be a certain level. You have to be like a Beyonce. You have to be like Alicia Keys. You just have to be, unfortunately. And I love it when I see those artists use those platforms to put out R&B music. Like Beyonce's, not her last album, but the album before that. It was a very R&B, focused album. So, I'm not sure if she really did get a lot of play. She may have because, her name is Beyonce. But there are really, they don't play, like, you're not going to hear Jasmine Sullivan on, like, Z100, here in New York. You're not. Although, if you started playing her, maybe you never know what that can actually do for their careers if they got that play. Because, look at, that's a perfect example. Besides, like, the Sam Smiths and the Justin Timberlakes, look at Eminem. Eminem, they played on the hip-hop stations, the R&B stations. They played him on the Z100s, the pop radio stations, but they also played him on the rock stations. Why are you playing rap on rock? Is it because he was white?
That's true.
You know what I mean? I don't know. And I don't know if the world of radio does that intentionally. I don't know if it's the record labels. It's part of the record labels, too, because I've spoken to artists before where they'll say the record label won't send it to pop radio. They won't send it to, even though it's a very pop record, they won't send it to pop radio.
Oh, there you go. See, that's another thing. It could be the record labels themselves that's holding the artist back.
Mm-hmm. And I remember an interview that K. Michelle did where she was saying when she finished her last album and her label heard the album, they said, "Oh, this is a very different type of album. It's not like her typical straight up R&B, the rebellious soul movement." They said, "Oh, we need to push this in other markets. We need to push this, outside the U.S." So it really is about, I always say it's always about your advocate. If it's at work or if it's in the record business, because if your label doesn't believe you could cross over, or we should push this out internationally, it really can hold you back. At the end of the day, they're kind of holding the purse strings.
Oh my gosh. Talking about holding back, like this one recently, right? JoJo?
Mm-hmm.
She was held back from her record for like 7 years.
Oh my gosh. That to me was like the saddest thing ever. Like almost as if like, damn, JoJo, are you black?
Right? Like, what's going on? I know you have that soul, girl.
They did not give her an opportunity. She was like I mean, you hear about that happening in the business where you sign a terrible record deal and you just don't hear from the artist. They shelved them for years. The JoJo was signed to Blackground Records for a very long time. They put out her first 2 albums, but that third album, she recorded a third album. She had to shelve it. They seemed that they were going to get it together, and she put out a single, and she re-recorded a bunch of new music for this third album, and then pretty much, I don't know what happened. I don't know if the label just dropped the ball on it, and they were like, "Oh no, we're not going to put it out the album."
Like I want to be one of those guys in that chair, like in that office, like being like, "Okay, why are we not releasing this? What's going on? Like, are you guys don't back me up? You guys don't believe in me? Like, I don't know. She was held back too long."
Well, JoJo is free at last. She's been spending the last couple of years, she got out of her record deal with Blackground Records and signed a new deal with Atlantic Records. And now she's already started the promo. She was here in New York City, dropping by like all the outlets to promote her new project. She's releasing 3 singles, Joe. 3 singles. She's calling it she said a thirple. I don't remember what she called it.
Yeah, she tweeted like triangle or some. We gotta
some Urban Dictionary word. I can't remember. We apologize. I know we need to get our facts together. But so she's releasing supposedly 3 singles at the same time, and I think she's premiering it like this week. I think by the time this airs, the singles will be premiered. I'm excited because I've always loved JoJo. She's an amazing singer. I've actually gotten an opportunity to interview her. Probably one of the most intelligent woman I've ever interviewed. I thoroughly enjoy her, and she can sing. You know what I mean?
She could sing. She did a special like sit down song with a guitarist last year for some kind of fundraiser, and she was singing Anytime or Anything. Oh my god, it was so amazing. I'm like, oh, I miss her so much.
Well, it doesn't look like we have to wait much longer. She's coming out with new music.
3 singles at one time. That's amazing. And I saw some little snippets of her performing these songs. They just sound like, one sounds like it's gonna be like a club banger. The other one sounds more of up tempo. She's gonna give us everything in one bang. I can't wait.
One bang.
Bang. I was reading one of these comments somebody wrote, and they were like, too little, too late, bitch. I was like, shut up.
Wow, I don't think so. I think she's
these
probably
comments online sometimes. I be more intrigued with comments, and I'll be in the post. I'll read the comments before I read the actual post, and I'll be like, these people are so mean. I want to like argue with these trolls, but I don't.
It's not worth it. It's definitely
not worth it.
But we're excited about JoJo's new singles. JoJo, you're going to have to come here on the show with something. We got to do something. Lord. Speaking of new music, definitely got to give a shout out to my girls, Bridget Kelly. She has a new EP out called Summer of 17. It's available on iTunes right now. And also Tiara Thomas. You may remember her from her her feature on Wale's song Bad. She has a new EP out called Up in Smoke. So make sure you guys check that out on SoundCloud, or just head on over to KEMPIREDAILY.com for all of the links. What are you listening to now? Like, what kind of music? Like, what's on your?
Actually, you know
I'm
what I
scared
just
to ask.
downloaded like yesterday? It's called on iTunes for $5.99. It's called Classic Number One Hits.
Mm-hmm.
So it has everything from like the song from Pretty Woman.
Pretty
So I'm over
woman.
here in the car like Pretty Woman,
Mm-mm.
and it's just a bunch of songs torn by Natalie and Bergley, whatever I think
Bruglia.
her last name, and from rock, from We Love Rock and Roll to Play That Funky Music, White Boy, to more recent hits, I guess, from like 5 years ago, which is Usher's Yeah Yeah and Kesha's TikTok. So I'm really taking it back, Flashback Friday.
Oh, here you go.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, right now the EPs I'm listening to are Bridget Kelly's and Tiara Thomas's. Thomas, I thoroughly enjoy them, and I can't wait for those new singles this week. JoJo, excited. Speaking of other ladies in music, I know we were talking about Beyonce before. Beyonce is on the cover of Vogue. This is her second cover.
Mm-hmm.
She looks good.
You know where I seen? It was so funny. You know what I seen first? I seen MTO Media Takeout.
Oh, your newspaper.
Exactly. It was so funny. They posted a post talking about Beyonce shows off her ass, what she does, and then I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, she showed off her ass, and I click on the link, and they what is that when you click on a link for whatever, they catfish whatever.
They misled you.
Yeah, exactly. So then I go on the article, and it was just a beautiful gown where it was pretty much see through, but I'm like, MTO, unfollow, seriously.
Oh, seriously? This time, the first episode you said you were going to unfollow them.
Yeah, no, they're still there.
They're still there.
But yeah, it was a beautiful cover though for Vogue. She looks amazing. She has that wet dog look like she did in her
Grammys.
in the what?
At the Grammys, at her Drunken Love performance.
I don't want to call it wet dog. The wet look. Sorry.
It'd be interesting. I wonder. It's funny because she doesn't really have anything to promote right now. So it's kind of interesting to see. Well, at least that we know of.
Speaking of having nothing to promote, I was looking at top videos on iTunes, and like Grown Woman is like top 10.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm like, what's going on? Did something happen?
I don't know. Maybe because of this whole Vogue cover. I don't know. But I wonder if she's plotting anything. There's been rumors that Beyonce and Jay-Z are recording a sort of duo album that they'll release exclusively to Tidal. But I don't know if they're going to release it like, oh, surprise, here you go.
That's still happening?
I don't know. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully they won't just release it on Tidal. Maybe they'll release it on Tidal for like the first week, and then it'll be available on like iTunes and things like that. Because I don't have Tidal.
I feel like Tidal's the reason why Rihanna's album hasn't been released yet.
Why is that?
I feel like I have a theory that they were trying to release her album on Tidal exclusively, like they probably do with Beyonce's and Jay-Z's, but with Tidal not gaining as much success as they expected, it's holding her back and her project back. And I think she's actually going to try and release it now, like the normal way. But since with the whole trying to match it up with Tidal and doing all this extra stuff with Tidal, it kind of, I honestly, I think it set her back on this album.
Well, she put out, I think, like 3 singles, and they haven't really caught on. I know Bitch Better Have My Money, which is our theme song.
Bitch Better Have My Money. I found it yesterday.
Oh, goodness. Unfortunately, none of the singles have really caught on, which is very unusual for Rihanna. But it was also very unusual that Rihanna hasn't released an album in almost, 2 years?
It's the longest.
So it's
expecting her to release an album every year. She has like 10 number ones or something, right? She's like up there.
Yeah. I mean, she's kind of lost her momentum, but I think, and it's so funny how this industry works, because the minute you don't have a successful single, they write you off. But I think she can definitely come back from this. I'm wondering what will happen next because, she had this single, Bitch Better Have My Money. She released the video. The video was awesome. But it's kind of interesting to see what they're going to do next. Like, what is going to be the next move? Are they just going to scrap this album and just act like it never, ever happened?
You think that might happen?
I hope not. That wouldn't be a good look for her. And this
Because
was her first album.
They released the album art, right? I think
they didn't. They didn't release any album art. No. They haven't even released the album title. They've been calling it R8, but that's not the official album title.
That's not the... Okay, that's why I'm getting confused. Yeah. Okay.
But it'll be interesting because this is her first album since she's left Def Jam and will be releasing it through Rock Nation.
What changes in that aspect? Because she's still under it's still under the monarchy, right?
Well, technically, because Rock Nation's distribution deal, I think, is through Universal, which is, I think, tied with Def Jam. But I guess she's not signed directly to Def Jam anymore. So I guess whatever that deal is, she signed a new deal. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But so far, it doesn't look good for her first project.
She needs to get it together and put something out because I'm a big fan of Rihanna. So she needs to hurry up and drop it.
We guess we'll have to wait and see.
No.
What else are you bitching about, Joe? Did you see the new movie Straight Outta Compton yet?
It's so funny, right? Because I go to the mailbox and I get my magazines and Rolling Stone's in there. And Dr. Dre's on the cover. And this movie is like everywhere. Like I even on iTunes, all of Dr. Dre's album and Ice Cube's albums are like up there, like our top 10, all their old stuff too. And I'm like, oh, good for them. I haven't even seen the trailer.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I mean, I'm no better anyway because I hadn't seen it either. But they are the number one movie. I think it was like over 16 million. That they sold over the weekend. So. Good for them. I'm hearing such great reviews about it. I'm hearing that it's like one of the best biopics ever done. I'm just interested to know their story because I know their story, but I don't know it chapter and verse. So it'll be interesting to see what how did they get together? I've never really been into NWA music, but
I have. That's why I'm like such. I
didn't know you were into gangster rap.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's why I'm like really excited to see the music is all like coming out in the front ground again. But I have not seen the trailer and I want to see it. I see everybody posting the Straight Outta Somewhere picture, and some of them are like funny too, because like people are like, oh, Straight Outta Wick, and there's like a ratchet girl.
I could definitely bitch about that. I'm gonna need them to stop.
Yeah, I'm like, do I gotta do one? Do I have to do like Straight Outta Somewhere? But then I'm like, yeah, Straight Outta had no time.
I mean, because I'm still seeing them. But you know what? It was a smart business move for them to make that available for people to do because it really helped promote the movie.
Yeah.
It had people talking. So that was whoever thought of that idea. That was very, very smart. I think there was like a whole Beats. Beats is now owned by Apple. So I'm sure somebody smart over at Apple decided to do that.
Yes. And what do they get that at? Like, is it on Beats or something?
I have no idea. I had no interest in doing that. Just saying.
I'm gonna make you one.
Oh gosh! Straight out of my mother's womb.
I'm gonna put it on our account for everybody to see it.
Oh Lord! Well, we want to hear from you guys because I have a whole list of things I could be bitching about, but this is only an hour show.
Exactly.
But I definitely want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know what you're bitching about. We want to know. Hit us up on our Facebook, our Twitter, or our Instagram. Let us know what are you bitching about this week, this day, because of course you might hear it here on First Bitch of the Day with Joe Paradise and of course me, the KEMPIRE. Make sure you follow us. Again, everything is at the number 1 BOTD. That's First Bitch of the Day, and you can hear us here every Friday from 9:30 a.m. Eastern, and you can also hear us again for the replay on our Friday evenings at 10 p.m. Eastern. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to First Bitch of the Day.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to KEMPIRE Radio's first Bitch of the Day with Joe Paradise and the KEMPIRE. Don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes and to follow us on all of our social media from Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. This has been a KEMPIRE Media Group production.